exciting. I'm not I'm not as excited. Well, I'm excited, but I just am I don't have anything. I had a great month, but I guess I'm not feeling as excited because next month I have nothing right now and it makes me very scared.
Okay, so I know a couple of you, we're going to keep celebrating, but we're going to cover that. We're going to cover some events conversations. I know Jessica H reached out to me this week, and another one of you too. I don't know if you're on here, but Carissa, help me. It's a Jessica too, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, both Jessicas were on a conversation thread with me this morning about events. So we're going to cover that. My dog is going to stop licking this bowl in just a second, so bear with us. Who else has something to celebrate? Piper, stop it. God, help me, Jesus. Tammy's on vacation. Come on, Tammy. That's worth celebrating. Like, you look very relaxed. Yeah. Brandy's packing up for a vendor event this week. I'm probably stealing her thunder. Go, Brandy, go.
Super excited. Just stocked our little box. My husband's upset that I stole all of his inventory just in case. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I love it. It's gonna be a good job. And then I hit my 1,000 already a while ago, but I'm actually gonna hang tight to my last party that I did because I really want to build September strong. So it's not going to get me my 35 or my two new team members in 4 days. So I'm going to hang on to those numbers and put them into my September and really focus on that. I actually have 2 weekends dedicated for family in September. So it's going to be hard, but I already have some strong events there. I'm still going to work on that though. So I'm excited. I'm alive. How about you?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I like the strategy. Have killed it in sales, even though you don't think so. For the number of events you've done really well. And I think strategy wise, sometimes you guys, when you're going for numbers, does take some strategy planning. And so Brandy's goal is going to be to literally start this weekend, even though it's a holiday weekend, and just come out of the gates looking for those strong team members, as she has been. It hasn't stopped. And also just continuing to add events and then doing a really strong job of what she has for September, October. And that's a really good decision, I think, Brandy, for your goals. It always depends what your goals are. Who else? Anyone else?
Katrina just did a really awesome live event. I'm proud of you. I stumble, and you should have heard me last night joking about deleting my posts. And yeah, it was a hot mess. So good job, Katrina. I'm proud of you. I'll be there too soon.
Thanks, Brandy. I actually write down all my points before I do a live video, so I don't like totally stumble over words.
Tell me, Katrina, where did you go live? Tell us all. Maybe we can learn something and it'll help somebody else.
I did it in my recipe club. I kind of just like tell everyone that I'm gonna have like a fun little thing for my year in business next month, and then I kind of explain some of like the new parties and stuff that I'll do, like the pizza party and salad in a jar, and then I re-explain what a workshop was, and then I just reminded everyone that our kit is only $50 until Thursday and all that stuff. So
awesome job. Kudos to you. Awesome. Okay, Carissa, do you have anything you want to say off the bat?
No, well, congratulations, everyone. I know there's some ladies that aren't on here, but a couple of them pushing for some big, scary goals this month. Lauren, who's not on here, and then obviously you mentioned Jessica Ullman too, and I'm excited to share like ideas for fall bookings, because I feel like that's for September. I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat as what Miranda had said earlier, kind of wanting to fill up that September part.
So let's just.
We're going to be doing something very cool for both of our teams to help that too.
For
the bookings.
Oh, duh. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Everybody who's watching this is on my team. Just bear with me a couple more days and August is almost over. I promise my life goes back to sanity. Yeah, we're doing something. Can we tell them, or are we not supposed to tell them?
I mean, why not?
Yeah, go ahead, tell them.
Okay. So Kayla, myself, and Tegan Braun, who's a director with Wild Tree, she's in Kansas City, right? No.
No, Colorado.
Oh. She came to us, she came to me and came to Kayla and said, "Hey, we're thinking of doing a booking blitz. Do you and your teams want to get in on this booking blitz?" So what it's going to be, we'll roll out the details, but it's going to be like an all team event. We'll have some Zoom calls for you to hop on and kind of get the excitement going, and then we'll have words for you to use, like what you should text someone, what you should call someone, what you should email someone. But it's going to be a fast-paced booking blitz. What is it, like 25 minutes or something like that? On 2 times on Wednesday, so it'll be at I think it's 11 Central and 6 Central.
Yep.
This Wednesday. So it's going to be, we're going to basically give you, and we're doing it too. So we're giving you the words to use, what to say, and you're going to reach, what you have to show up is with a good attitude, which everyone here has, and your contact list. So stay tuned for that, because that's going to be coming up on this Wednesday. So the whole point of it is to help you get those bookings for September and October.
Yes.
How many times do we reach out to people and we're so excited, we want to help them, and we just fumble over everything that we say, and we're like, blah, 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 workshops, Wild Tree, and they're like, what? Crazy? No. So here we'll give you some words to use to kind of have it flow and make it sound good. So I'm excited. I've never done this before either. So
yeah, for those of you on my team, Tegan asked me, no offense to Carissa, to make the graphics with the script. So we've got a taster and a workshop.
I can't do any of that.
Yeah, it's just funny how she's like, Kayla, you do this. Yeah, I'm like,
because I don't do that. I don't do that stuff.
Because if she asked Carissa, Carissa would have turned around and done. She would have messaged me privately and been like, hey, how do you do this?
Yeah.
So it's scripted out words to use, whether you're calling, texting, or emailing. It's great. We're going to do a booking blitz. And then Carissa and I have something special lined up for basically each month following. So we're going to help you with September. And then we have something planned to help you guys and your teams for October, November, and December. It's already in the works. It's going to be big ticket things that help you. So this conversation right now, though, we want to focus on, what are you going to do in the meantime while you wait for Wednesday to come to booking blitz? The first thing you guys need to evaluate, this is my personal opinion, Carissa, jump in, is you need to look back at who hosted for you a year ago, or even 6 months ago, or 3 years ago for that matter. It depends on how long you've been here. We need your repeat hostesses to step up because of the new fall products coming out and the pumpkin stuff, the existing fall line coming back. Pumpkin's a real deal. People will.
I know.
That's
People
true.
get over it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. What else do you got, Carissa?
Yeah, I was going to say, too, make sure Brandy says I've seen a ton of posts about pumpkins. Seriously, you throw out pumpkins, people are like, what? When? They love that. So, past hosts, your repeat, your every few months hosts, people who haven't gotten back to you that that would love it, but they just haven't gotten back to the date. Go through just try to get a big list. I think on there we said 25 to 50 people. And if you can't come up with anyone, that's okay. We'll just work with what you have. But look at your news or your worm call report, that Perfect Blend newsletter that Wild Tree sends out. Look at that Perfect Blend newsletter. Who's opening that? Are they looking for recipes? You can write down their names. Who else was I going to say? I just had your contact list. There was something else I was just going to mention, but I just had a complete blank. But just write down a bunch of names, because that half hour for this Wednesday, if you do it both times or just once, you're just going to knock out as much as you can. And the whole purpose of that, when we hop back on the call after the booking cuts, is to see who got the most bookings and who booked and all that. And you're going to want to write down the different options too. Because, Kayla, I know it says stuff about tastings and workshops, but I feel like they could still offer online events too to people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because Facebook parties for me, guys, this is great tonight. I'm doing one right now, and there's a lot of people active, and she already has 4 orders. So, I mean, I definitely think you have to be well-versed. But to be honest, I'm going to just share a quick statistic to help you guys. This month has proven to me 2 things. I still know the best way to form relationships is face-to-face if possible. the best way to fill your calendar is face-to-face, like when you're live in front of someone, because I do a really good job at online events. My hostesses are getting good credit, and it's still really hard to book parties online, I think. Like, it takes a lot of follow-up. It's easier to go to a party one night, I think, and book your future events than it is to do that. So just know when you're offering, if you really want to be a stagnant representative, I say stagnant with bad connotation, just be willy-nilly about what you're doing. But if you want to be a growing or consistent rep or a team leader, the best thing you can do is be well-versed. So I'm just going to use Brandy, for example. She's doing a Facebook party. She did a workshop. She did a tasting. She has a vendor event this coming weekend. That's really a good mix to get your calendar, Miranda, to where you were saying it's feeling really empty. To me, I would say if you were my representative, that we need to get one of each of those events on your calendar in the next week. Like, we need to do whatever it takes. If you could at least get those 4 things, those 4 pieces of variety on your calendar, I think you'd be just fine. I mean, it'd be better if you had 6, right, or 8. I mean, we all want, like, Carissa's sales. But in reality, like, when you're looking at your calendar and you're feeling like you don't have much going on, I think a great way to start is trying to get well-versed in all the different ways people can wild tree. Would you agree, Carissa?
Yes, I agree. I think I heard someone say, like the statistic is like 3 Facebook parties to 1 party. Like, that's kind of like, because Facebook parties are kind of like hit or miss. So it's like booking 3 Facebook parties to your 1 in-home party.
Yes.
So I always say, like, sprinkle those in there, like your Facebook ones, but don't rely solely on it, but have it as an option if you feel like you can't, if there's no other way for her to wanna host. Like, I would never lead with a Facebook party unless they're out of state. Because I had a Facebook party last night out of state.
Yep. Okay. Other ideas that I have is just getting even like more variety. I was just having a meeting tonight with Katrina and a couple reps. And if you're seasoned here with Wild Tree, offer a workshop out of the vault that isn't available and do a party at your house. Make it a super huge mid-September party or end of September party and do soups on. Or do plastic. Or do the Mommy and Me one. Make it a big deal to pull one out of the vault. If you don't know what that is, calm down. If you're in a place where you need that, message us one-on-one. I don't want to eat up a whole call explaining how not fun our workshops used to be and how good they are now. But the reality is there's some good recipes. Soups on is popular.
Oh, I'm doing soups on next month. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I actually have a post set up to go off too about it and giving them free shipping on it and whatever. And the only reason I thought of it was one of my customers saw on the Precisely website that the soups on bundle is a meat bundle. You can buy that for the meat. So she ordered the products. And I was like, she messaged me and said, can I get the products? I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that bundle. So, yeah, I can't read Brandy's comment there. I got to read it on the screen. It's too small. But yes.
And then.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, keep going. What else?
Okay. So another big thing about leading into September. So Kayla and I kind of noticed that we weren't as, and I take credit for this, I wasn't either for my personal business, the CSFs that we talked about, like on our very first call, and we uploaded like a goal tracker and things like that. And in this group about talking about the CSFs, jeez, I can never say that. Does anyone, can you raise your hand or type or something or say yes? Does anyone have a goal sheet for those like that you track month after month after month? Week after week, sorry, not month after month. Not yet. Okay, anybody else? Nobody? Okay, so like we feel like we're missing a huge link here because from my team, if you're on my team, I've heard a lot of people say I've reached out to 40 people, I reached out to 60 people, I reached out to this many people, and I still only have this in sales, or I there's no one that's booking for me, and like so we think the big, and it's hard to know what's working, what's not working if you're not tracking it, because I don't know. Like, what did you say to these people? What were you calling them for? Did they return your call? Did you have a party? Did you talk about recruiting? Because, then you're frustrated because your recruiting isn't there. So this tracker is going to kind of like help solve all those mystery issues between me and my team, or Kayla and her team. So we really want to have September to be like started off with that goal tracker, the CSFs. It seems really like a lot because, Kayla, do you want to run through the 10? Of course, I don't have my list here.
I do.
Run through the 10 of them and really make it a point and like commit to yourself and commit to everyone here and everyone in this group that you will track and you will use them. I mean, that's what they're there for. If you want to be a team leader in 2 months, like what we put out here, this is where it's at. This is what you got to do. Kayla always says to me, like, you're really good at follow-up. And I'm like, yeah, because I keep track of when I'm talking to these people and I'm writing down notes and I know what they bought or their favorite product or whatever. On my little, I don't use the goal card. I'm going to use the goal card. I told Kayla that the other day. I do it on a different way, but I think that no one's slipping through the cracks. I'm continually getting people in the door to host parties and follow up and reorder from me. I think because of the keeping track and not going through the motions of, well, I did my 10 calls today or I did my 10 reach outs, so no one booked. I'll think of 10 more people tomorrow. Maybe I'll think of 10 more people the next day. And then by the end of the week, you're like, well, that sucked. I didn't book any parties. And then you're back to square one the next week. Does that make sense to everybody? Or is I'm the only one that happens to?
Yes,
So,
that makes sense.
Katrina, you asked the documents or if the goal card and stuff's in the files here. Yep, it was the very first thing I uploaded when we started this group. And I'll be honest, it's so much more fun to jump in and focus on how good you guys are doing and the events you're doing and all that stuff that we haven't really been holding you accountable. But I mean, I'm going to give you a good example, and this is kind of tough love. Maybe we don't have to get this serious, but my coach won't talk to me anymore on our hour-long scheduled calls if I have not updated my CSFs. Because she feels like, why are we even talking if I can't track my progress? Like, why am I even paying her to coach me? And so I would say to you, like, I love all of you, and I don't want to get to that point. But I've had this epiphany recently where, like, those of you that are working your booty off deserve the time. And those of you that aren't, like, I want to help you. But if you're not putting in the time, I can't give you the time. Like, that's time that I would spend with my family. And maybe that time isn't the only issue. Like Carissa was saying, a lot of it is actually, like, are you sending out good constructive messages, or are you shooting yourself in the foot when you're reaching out to those 40 people? And did you wreck your chances just now of getting them to order or 10 because you totally turned them off by being spammy? So we want you to track it. So I'm going to run through it really quick. Grab a piece of paper and a pen. This is going to help all of you. Here we go. Okay. Daily calls. My goal as a director working with a coach is 15. Okay. Now I don't just do calls though. I do text messages, some calls, Facebook messages, emails, etc. But 15, I can't say the word reach. I'll tell you why in a second. 15 attempts to get a hold of somebody. And the goal is then out of that to get a hold of at least 5 a day. Your guys's, it might be the 10 and 3, or it might be 5 and 1. Making 5 reaches, or I'm going to have to change my language. Very tough. We always called them reaches in Wild Tree, but we changed it this summer. 5 calls, 1. A reach is just where you actually get them to talk back to you. So Miranda, it sounds like you had that happen. You reached out to somebody about vegan products and they got back to you. That counts as both the initial call and it counts as a reach. Does that make sense to everybody? Someone give me a yes or say yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you track how many parties you dated and how many parties you ran. How many one-on-ones you dated and how many one-on-ones you ran. Very interesting, this, you guys. I think I mentioned this a little bit last week. I misunderstood what a one-on-one was. I was thinking those were all for menu planning. And my coach said, never set up an orientation call with a recruit and get her all set up for success. And I said, no, I do that with every recruit joining my org. She's like, if it's your personal, like, that's a one. You led with the business opportunity. Or if you call somebody as they're a referral and you introduce Wild Tree to them and they say that they'd be a great hostess, like, that's a one-on-one. It's not a menu planning consultation. It may turn to that because that's what's best for them. But a one-on-one is literally like you talking to somebody about our 3 ways to Wild Tree, leading with the opportunity. So dated one-on-ones ran. Money collected each week is what you submit in the back office, not what you have loaded, not what you know you're going to have by the end of the month. It's what you actually submit. So when you close a $508 party, you have $508 in that week that you closed it. You might have done the party like 2 weeks ago or a day before the week of. How many recruits you want to get, and how many recruits, how many recruits you want to get, and how many you get is the same column on this tracker. Your referral goal, meaning how many times are you going to ask for a referral and talk to somebody that you don't know, and then how many times are you going to share the app is basically it. Now, some of these are ran by month because, as you guys notice, like the daily reaches, daily calls and daily reaches are daily. Then there's monthly, and then there's weekly. So it's kind of all different. So how I do it is I just log in on September 1st into my system that I track, and I enter how many parties I have booked. And then as I do them throughout the month, I change the number ran. So if I have 6 parties booked for September, and in the first week I do 2, I'll have put the 6 in on September 1st, and then by the 7th, I'll have put in 2 and the parties ran. And then one-on-ones and a lot of that other stuff I do weekly. I use the goal card to put, I don't know if you can see this, slashes in the time frame that I'm like making I'm doing the work. So this morning I was making calls at 8 a.m. and then I was making tallies that I did them, and then I'll load that in by Friday. I'll just go in one time and load it in. If you're going to keep it electronically. For some of you, you just might write it on a sheet like this and keep it like this. I don't really care what you do. Okay, Carissa, that was probably really rambly.
No, it's fine. But does anyone have any questions on any of that? I mean, it's a lot. You know, like when I first started, it was just kind of like, hey, just make some calls. And now, you know, they're all separated out. But I like the separation out because you kind of know, you can take your contacts and break them up into different categories too, based on recruiting, hosting, reorder type thing. Does anyone have any questions on that?
I actually have one that I'm hoping will be kind of quick, and I apologize because I talked too. But so I've had a couple where I've specifically reached out. Given the fact that I work full time, I tend to do better with like a Facebook message or an email, like on my break times or work or lunch breaks. So I kind of spewed a whole bunch of stuff, which Kim and I have talked about, where I probably spit Wild Treat all over them and just like, they were like, whoa. So that was all like in a message, because I know you want to be personal. So then I followed up with like an email or a text message that, you know, hey, I'm sorry, I probably just really just smothered you in Wild Treat because I'm very passionate. Try to dial it down a little bit. And then asking them, you know, if there was something that I could help their family with, or if not them, their friends, you know, allergy needs and whatnot. So I think I'm doing it right, but then I get crickets. So, I mean, like today I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and I'm still very new, so I haven't had many opportunities to get outside of that circle that I have, to where it's easier to ask people that aren't like my friends. I get them and they just shut me off and they ignore my questions. So I'm like, really, could you at least just tell me, no, I'm not interested, and I appreciate you asking me. So I guess that's kind of where I'm struggling right now with the limited resources that I have. Yeah, so far.
Carissa, do you want to?
So what, I guess, what are you, what's like your message that you're sent, like the last kind of message that you're sending, or the question that you're asking, or, because are they responding to you first and then you respond back and then they're not saying anything?
No, actually I'll get nothing. And then I went back and mainly right now I was just trying to get out of my circle, expand my business, my contacts. So asking people that I think that would be of a good asset to me, or that I feel like I'm in an opportunity to bless other people with our product and allergies and food prep, you know the deal. So yeah. I just come back and say, you know, I apologize if I spewed, and I'm really, really trying to just kind of spin it on like booking, so I can reach other people, and then I still don't get anything. So it's like I leave them the voicemail, I can see they read it, you know, Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. And then I waited, I think, like 3 days and kind of followed up via email or a text that okay, sorry to, I'm going to dumb it down a little bit. I'm very passionate and I want to share why, these are the reasons why I think that you would be good, or that I think that I can bless you and your, friends and family. Would you be willing to open up your home so I can do, a freezer meal workshop? I know you're busy. So I do those things, but then I still don't get anything after that either yet so far. So I don't want to be like an every 2 or 3 day type of gal and drive people crazy. I don't want to, do that either. But if someone at least just said, I'm not interested, I appreciate that more than saying, hey, that's a good option. I might not, but I know someone,
Right. And maybe even saying that. So like sometimes when I don't hear anything, I might say, I call the elephant out in the room, sorry, I don't mean to be a stalker. I'm just very passionate about what I do, and I think you would benefit from this. Could you give me a courtesy text back? Like using that word, like, could you give me a courtesy text back or a courtesy email and just let me know, like, if this isn't for you, that's totally fine. But, I just want to make sure that, I'm doing my job, at, my customer service or my job with Wild Tree, and I'm, blessing this with as many people as I can. But like, I think saying like, because I've run into that too, where it's like, okay, this is now the 5th time I'm reaching out to you or whatever, and you still haven't got back to me. So I might text that, or I might voice it or something, just like, hey, sorry, I don't mean to be a complete stalker, but because then you're just like making a joke out of it. But if this isn't something that you're not interested in, could you give me a courtesy text back or a note back? I know life gets really busy, so I just want to make sure that I'm following up with you. And and then if they still don't say anything, then I would probably just kind of
chalk it off to the wayside.
Chalk it up, or I would maybe follow up in a couple weeks again, or I would just slide them into my recipe club, and then they could see what it's all about there.
Right. Okay. Thank you. That helps. I just feel like I'm doing something wrong, but I just keep trying. So.
No, yeah, and that's all you can do is just being consistent and keep reaching out and keep asking. I mean, there's a girl I'm trying to get. She wants to have an online party. She's out of state. I sent her samples and a catalog, but I think with her, the thing that piqued her interest to get back to me, because there was a few. I think I might have shared our conversation or something that I sent on our group, but she like one of my last messages was like, hey, something like, hey, if this isn't something that's up your alley, totally get it, but I would love to send you a catalog and a sample, just to give it a try and let me know your feedback. And then she was like, oh, here's my email, or here's my email, here's my address. I sent it to her, and then when she tried the product, and I put a bunch of information with the book, and then when she got it, she was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. But it was in front of her. You know what I mean? She got to see it versus like listening to me talk on voice text on Facebook. So that could be an option you could say too.
Thank you, ladies.
I hope that's helpful. I don't know, Kayla, what do you think?
I was going to say the same thing. I think she did everything right. I just think, honestly, I do like the idea of us coaching as a group of leaders. You guys, we're talking to a leadership team. You guys are going to be the leadership team this fall. I don't think it's okay to just not reply to people. Mm-hmm. I reply to people back and just say, you know what, my friend sells Rodan & Fields. Thank you so much for asking me. I actually do buy the sunscreen from her. You know what, right now my family is just totally tight on our budget. Thank you so much for thinking of us. I would love it if you stay in touch and check in with me in a few months, but right now I'm not interested. Like, if I can do that, anybody can do that. Like, you guys have seen my month this month. It's insane. And I still take the courtesy to reply back to people. Mm-hmm. So I just would tell you, like, I don't think you have to feel bad about asking for some sort of standard, just human kindness. Do you know what I mean? Like, so Brandy, don't feel bad about that, I guess is what I'm saying. Don't feel guilty saying, like, because you did it great. You even apologized for maybe potentially giving them so much information they wouldn't have been able to make a decision. And then when you gave it more simplified to them, if they can't even respond back and say, thanks, Brandy, for reaching out, like, I don't know. Like then I say too. I mean, actually, if you guys listen to the business builder call, she said she keeps reaching out every couple days until she gets. I couldn't read her comment right now. Vomit something. I don't know. I couldn't see it. Marlene, was it Marlene that did the call? Whoever did the call said they keep reaching out is because she also demands that much respect at least. If you show interest, especially interest, they should at least get back to you and say, not right now, follow up again in the fall, you know. But now you say no thanks, we can't always go back and try to solve it and give them like but that's exactly why like you need Wild Tree. You can just say something like, I would love it if you follow me here in my recipe club. Maybe you can think of somebody kind of like you did, Brandy, and not vomiting again on them and making them feel like, well, I just said no and now you still pushed on. You know, I think that's a big thing too. Anyone else? So basically what we're asking of you guys is we're gonna try to come up with more ideas over the next few days to help you guys finish out August strong. So if you need help with numbers or goals for this month, you have to reach out to us and let us know. But we're also going to be trying to come up with fun ideas for your calendar. In the meantime, what we ask of you guys is that you start tracking what you're actually doing. You know, if in a whole week you do this full time, you've only asked 3 people to book, I think we need to strategize, and either we need to get you some more names to ask, we need to grow your network of people you could be reaching out to, or you're just simply not doing it yet, you're not in the habit, and we need to get you in the habit. Does that make sense? Like, Chris, is that a fair standard to say? Like, we need to just know that you're doing, I mean, again, your reaches might look different than mine. Mine's high. You're not going to be reaching that many people potentially. Brandy, you work full-time. Others of you work full-time. That's okay. Our goals are all different. I'm looking at, I'd like to be Sonara a year from now. What does that take? It takes 15 calls or you know, personal extensions, I guess we can call them, a day. Who else has a question, comment, or thought, or something we can help with?
Did you answer Katrina's question?
I don't know if I saw it.
Kayla, does your 3 options thing work for this?
Yeah, I always get better response when I give 3 options. If they haven't gotten back to you, give them an out. Like, just simply, like Krista was saying, if you're not interested, give me a courtesy no thanks. That's a perfectly acceptable option. A second option would be to let me know that you're interested, but you're just not sure what Wild Tree is or where to go from here. And a third option, of course, would be to jump in and join my recipe club and then let me get you connected with some products or with an event on your calendar. You know, like just giving 3 options. That's great, Katrina. Thank you for saying that. That service the customer well. I almost always give an out. And honestly, you guys, I think that's the biggest thing in our industry. People are afraid to lose a recruiter. They're afraid to lose a booking, or they're afraid to lose a sale. And I think when you get to mine and Carissa's point, you finally can take a deep breath and realize like it's okay sometimes to chance it, because that chance is what makes people say, gosh, she's awfully confident in her business. Like, what is this Wild Tree stuff she talks about? Where when you're in their face, sometimes it's from a place of passion, but it comes across as desperate. So I think it's just an important thing to check yourself. Like, don't lose your excitement. I'm crazy about Wild Tree, right? But in a way that I make sure, I mean, Katrina was at the meeting tonight. Katrina, what do you think of how I talked to my new recruits? Oh, God. Don't ask, people. Don't ask. Katrina's probably like, yeah, my leader's drinking on the job. Anyway. Who else? It's going to cut us off soon, so talk fast.
Oh. Any questions about anything?
I'm answering a few questions about my Facebook party, but the best advice I have for you right now is that there's no magic words. Those of us that have a calendar of bookings have just asked more people. And I know sometimes you're going to say, yeah, that's because you had a great party last Friday. Right, but somehow I found that party. And tonight I was tracking back with Katrina some of my vendor events I've done and how I've met people. And some of my strongest recruits that are joining me this month